Republican Congressman Don Bacon from Nebraska, been one of the biggest critics, Republican critics at least, of the president's push so far, even saying he'd lean toward impeaching the president if the U.S. military invaded. Congressman, thanks for being back with us tonight here on the Hill. So the president took that option off the table today. What we're witnessing right now just a negotiating tactic with the president? And if so, do you give him credit to where he's moved?
I do think it was a negotiating tactic to get more basing rights in Greenland. We probably need an anti-ballistic missile facility, maybe Air Force units or more access to Navy, probably a variety of things. He could have done this with a phone call to the Denmark leadership and also the Greenland leadership, and they would have been glad to do it. And so I do think it was a strategy or a tactic for negotiating. It was unnecessary. You do not threaten force every day for like 2 weeks with an ally. And I always thought it was probably a tactic to get to a deal, but you don't treat your allies this way. It could have all been done in a more friendly way.
Congressman, do you believe him when he says the military option is no longer on the table?
I do. First of all, it's so ludicrous to threaten force against a NATO ally. I mean, the whole notion, I said this before, and I don't even like using the word, but it's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard, threatening a NATO ally with military force. All this could have been done with a telephone call. And unfortunately, it hurt relations and it's going to have a long-term negative impact, I fear. I've talked to so many elected people from Europe, from the Baltics all the way to Great Britain and Denmark, and a lot of places in between, and they've lost trust in our leadership. They're starting to see us more as a threat, and it's so unnecessary. We're becoming America alone, and that's not a safe place for America.
You know, Congressman, you talked about the negotiating and maybe what the president wants here. There's obviously the military base there in Greenland and the threat against China and the threat against Russia. But I picked up on something that the president first said yesterday and then mentioned again today. Here it is, and then we'll pick it up on the other side.
Who the hell wants to defend a license agreement or a lease? I mean, look, you know, take a look at the word license, take a look at other things.
So we talked there about a license yesterday and then again today. Do you think what the president wants here is a strengthened military presence for the United States on Greenland and then some sort of a deal for the rare earth elements?
I think they're both factors. There's no doubt that he wants more military presence in Greenland, which he could have done easily. We already have an agreement that allows us to do this pretty much on our own decision-making, so this wasn't necessary. Now, I also think America and the free world, we need more rare earth mineral access. We do not want to rely on China. I think this is a worthy goal, but again, the people in Greenland would love to have had a deal with America that we invest there and you share the profits. This was all unnecessary.
Let me ask you about Vladimir Putin before you run. On Trump's bid to acquire Greenland, quote, "It doesn't concern us." Do you believe Putin there, or do you think he's concerned?
I think it's a strategy to talk about Ukraine for him. Their viewpoint is America threatens Greenland for the same reasons we want Ukraine, because it's good for defense. That was a problem with this whole stuff from President Trump. When you threaten an ally because it's important for your national security, how is that different than Russia saying we need Ukraine for the same thing, or China saying the same thing about Taiwan? I thought it put America on a very thin ice using this rationale. And again, you don't do this with allies. These are NATO allies. I wish President Trump talked to Russia the way he talks to our allies. He treats Russia with velvet gloves or kid gloves, and he treats our allies with boxing gloves. And it doesn't make sense.
Retired Air Force veteran, Congressman Don Bacon, Republican, Nebraska, with us tonight here on the Hill.
Thank you.
Catch you again soon, Congressman. Thanks.